So being divisive as a brand may actually be a smart decision. And I think that's brilliant. So Deb, you've given us so much to think about. I got to tell you, this was like the fastest masterclass on branding I think I've ever been a part of. And I feel a little greedy asking for this, but as you think about the leadership advice that you've received over the course of your career, what one piece of leadership advice has really made an impact on you that you'd like to share with our audience?
This is one of my favorite questions. The biggest piece of leadership advice is to not seek advice or give advice. I learned pretty early on in my leadership career from mentors the idea of communicating from a place of sharing experiences versus giving advice. So I seek advice from people that I'm throwing down $1 to give me advice. So my CPA, my attorney, sometimes fashion consultants, the beauty counter, stuff like that. So I throw down money. I'm asking specifically for their advice. In leadership, when people come for advice, whether that's clients, it's coworkers, it's people I'm mentoring and inspiring, it's other business leaders, I find that the best way to share is through the lens of experience. So for instance, Linda, if you come to me and you ask me advice, you're like, I have this problem, here's something that I'm dealing with. And then I spew off a bunch of advice that starts with, Linda, you should. And then you take my advice and it doesn't go well. We always have that between us, right? If you don't take my advice and stuff rolls downhill, we always have that between us. However, when you come to me and you ask me a question where you're looking for some advice, and I sit back for a minute and I think about an experience that I had that is relatable and is relevant, and I share with you a personal story in a really deeply authentic way where I say, I dealt with a similar situation in my own career or in my own life. And here's what happened. Here's how I felt about those things. Here's specifically what I did, and here's how it came out. You own that experience, and you get to take away from that what you will. Now, I've used this technique, and in my world, I'm a member of the Entrepreneurs Organization, and this is something that they teach when they onboard people into forums, which are these incredible peer mentoring groups with other CEOs, business leaders. I've used this technique for many, many years. I don't just use it in business. I also use it in my personal life. My daughter would tell you, she's like, oh, here she goes again. I went to my mom for advice and she told me a story about when she was 15 and this thing happened and whatever. And it's really funny because I sometimes see like this visible back channel of communication that's happening in my company. It's like this incredible opportunity to work with my daughter as an adult in the business. But, I've heard her talking to other people, about a story I might have told them that's an experience shared that's designed to inspire them to kind of find their own way and determine their own path and all that kind of stuff. And, she'll laughingly say like, oh, my mom just gestalted you, didn't she? But it's been really, really incredible and transformative to all of the relationships that I have in my life. I mentor a number of other women. I mentor accelerator groups. I have other CEO peers that I do this with. And what it does is it puts all of us at the same level. And it enables the other person to take away from it the nuggets of wisdom that are relevant to them that then they can use and find it within them to figure out their own path. I will say that is the single best piece of advice that I ever got. It has been transformative to me. All of my interpersonal relationships, all of my business relationships. I do it with my clients. It's a way to sort of bring concepts to life through story. And it's something that bonds people together. It really, I'm really in support of making deep emotional connections. When you know something about someone and their experience, it enables that vulnerability, enables people to feel comfortable and trusting in your presence. And it opens up the door for much, much more potential for people to do their own self-discovery, if that makes sense.